I really like to thank Hingori Sutras to give me this opportunity to bring this wonderful modality of Bach flower remedies and explain it in the best possible way to people to understand what Dr. Edward Bach has done for us, and what we have been missing for some few years, which is now coming into limelight. So, without taking any further ado, I'll just move ahead. I'm going to talk to you about the originator of Bach flower remedies, that is Dr. Edward Bach himself. Now, the designation doctor itself tells you that, he was an allopath, but, not just with one degree, but he had degrees of MBBS, MRCS, LRCP. So he was a very well qualified doctor. So it was not any layman just, getting up from his dream world and suddenly bringing this modality to us. So he was pretty well versed how medicine works, or how the modern medicine works rather, or how healing happens. He knows everything about the human anatomy, physiology also. And he was practicing, he had a very nice practice, flourishing practice, I would say. And being a bacteriologist, immunologist, homeopath himself, so he had various streams of medicine under his belt. So as I said, he was very well versed with healing. But somewhere he was not happy, or he was dissatisfied that this method of medicine is not giving the healing he was looking out for. So there was something still lacking. He was assigned for World War. He did emergency work in World War I. Somewhere there was a sense of dissatisfaction that these remedies or these medicines are not doing something which he really felt or wanted to do. That is, getting rid of the disease or the problem, may it be emotional, may it be mental, or may it be physical, from the root cause. That is what he was missing. And that's where he had also developed Bach nosodes. When these nosodes were bacteria-based cures, which he came up with, and they treated chronic illnesses. A lot of chronic illnesses were cured, and they are still being used back in England. If you go or if you Google about it, you'll get to know about the Bach nosodes, which are still being used. And this is where, I always say that instigated him, to dig deeper and to look out for more options and, venture out and try and bring a new modality to the human mankind. And because of this, he ventured into nature, and this is where he went and bought or got these remedies for us. So what are these remedies? What is Bach remedy as a modality? What it is all about is basically there are 38 flowers into it, and out of those 38 flowers, there are 3 groups made by Dr. Bach, which he fondly calls as the healers, the helpers, and the second 19. That is how they are constituted as a set of 38 flowers. Now, if you look at it, he was a very, very sensitive person, and he could communicate with flowers and trees. I know it sounds a little absurd, but that is a fact. If you are really elevated, if you really cleanse yourself, you are basically nothing but nature, and you can always communicate with the nature as well. You get to know from the nature. You don't have to verbally talk, but the nature communicates to us easily. And he was such a sensitive person. Even as a small child, he was a realized soul. He was not someone like you and me who always wanted to, maybe think about toys or gifts and play and school at that age. At that age also, at a very small age, what he always dreamt of was, trying to have a universal cure. How I can cure people either by touch or by some other way where people can be healed. So, that really shows us how spiritually inclined he was. He was not like us, where we were just stuck to, materialistic needs at that age, which is usually the case in everyone's life. We are just looking at that. But Dr. Bach was a spiritually inclined person. Even when he used to sit in his clinic to do practice, he could always sense that feeling. We always call them as empaths. We don't call them as sympathy. That's not about sympathy. Oh, it's so sorry, I'm feeling for you. He really felt for people. He really felt what they are undergoing. If someone was undergoing deep pain, he could feel that pain on himself. He was that kind of a person, sensitive, and hence he could feel what the flowers were vibrating, and it was so easy for him to find out which flower would heal what kind of an emotion or what kind of a thought process. And that is where the first 12 flowers, he named them as healers. Like how we have zodiac signs, we all fit into one of the 12 astrological signs depending on the time of our birth and the month of our birth and everything else. So similarly, he has also realized that there are 12 flowers which he has made them as type remedy. So all of us, we kind of fit into one of the flower. That's our type remedy. That's why he has called them as 12 healers. And then he followed with 7 helpers, which these are the flowers which usually address the long-term emotional problems that we have, and which later on as time goes by, it percolates in us and may create a physical disease in us, or I would not call it just a disease, but anything which gives us uneasiness. So this kind of situation or these kind of emotions are tackled by the 7 helpers. And then the remaining 19, he called them as the second 19. So he found out them later on. So these flowers, they deal with whatever the current emotional problems, the thought processes we have, negative issues we have. So these flowers, they tackle that. So if you see, it's a holistic way of tackling problems. It is right from your type up to whatever problems or whatever mindsets we have right up till now. Everything gets tackled in these 38 flowers. And there are more than 2.5 million combinations that you can do using these flowers. There can be 2 flowers used, there can be 3 flowers, there can be 3 different flowers. So there are so many permutations and combinations that one can come up with. Hence, we always call these, these are not remedies which are generalized, that okay, if you have a headache, okay, pop this pill, everyone's headache is gone. If everyone has diabetes, chalo, pop this pill. But it doesn't work like that. Over here, it is more, I would say, personalized remedy. Over here, we talk to patients or the clients whoever comes to us. We try to get to know them. What exactly is the emotion? What exactly is the thought that is triggering this kind of a problem in them? So even if 5 people come to me, even if they're in the same family and they have the same problem, I would still not give the same remedies to them, because somebody's problem is triggered out of the emotion of fear, somebody's problem is triggered out of the emotion of anger, somebody's anxiety, it may be anything. So to get to know what is the root cause of the issue or the problem, that is what we look in Bach flower remedy. So we try to dig deeper, we try to take a consultation, and we understand the person. Like it happens in homeopathy also, we do something similar. So if you read the first slide, that he himself was a homeopath as well, and he definitely has taken some inspiration from homeopathy and has made these Bach flower remedies. So hence over here also, thoughts and emotions play a bigger role than whatever the symptoms are. So all the reports, medical reports, symptoms, they are not considered important over here. What is considered more important is what are the thoughts, what are the feelings, and accordingly the mixtures can be made and prescribed to a person. Now, what is the philosophy behind it? Like how he must have thought, what was the thought process that went behind it, that he developed this such a wonderful modality. So the core philosophy or the concept, it rests on just 2 things, that is unity and love. So when I am talking about unity, I am not talking about the unity that we get taught in schools, unity and equality and stay united so that you don't fall apart and all that. I'm not talking about that unity. Of course, that is essential for sure. But when I'm saying unity is when we understand that we all are coming from the same source. So same soul self, or I can call it the Atman as we call it. Atman is where we all come from. So we all are originating from that one universal source of energy. When we understand this, that is where the true healing starts to happen. That is where half of your problems will also go away. So that was the belief and the faith and the understanding that Dr. Bach had, that irrespective of the caste, irrespective of your age, the color, whatever it is, if we understand that we all have that same element in us, we understand, we know that we all are the same. That is the unity that he is talking about. And that unity somehow has been lost over the years because of many other factors, external influences, and so many things, political influences. But if we start to understand this, that unity is required within us, you will see half of the problems go away. And that is what Bach flower remedies, they do. Once you start in taking these remedies, you automatically start to understand why it happens, how the clearing happens. And the second concept is also of love. So when I'm saying love is not only love in the physical sense. When I'm saying love, love is acceptance, love is abundant, love is prevalent always, irrespective of conditions. So there are no conditions attached to it. That is what is love I'm talking about. So unconditional love and unity. If we understand these two concepts, half of the problems are solved. So for that, I'll just give you one example. So why I'm talking about unity is the soul self which resides in us, which resides in all of us rather. It is something like a guiding light in our life. It guides us. However, what has happened, as I said, because of the external influences, because of our ego, we have kind of lost connect with our soul self or the Atman. That is how I refer it to. And we are operating in the life from the ego self. We are operating as, me, Vishal Suptankar, I am Bach flower remedy therapist, I am yoga instructor, I am this, I am that, I am that. So this is a part of my ego. And also there are a few past memories and emotions that have also been stored in my ego. And that is how I perceive life. That is how I perceive people. That in my past, I had seen one tall man who behaved very badly with me. So the moment I see a tall man, I would say, this guy is going to behave badly with me and I am not going to behave good with him. So this is how we work in life. We work from the ego self. This is all made out of ego. All these emotions, all these thought patterns, all these rigid beliefs, that is also a part of ego, other than me and my degree and my qualification, my achievements, all this. So what Bach remedies they do, basically they just kind of remove all these negativities, remove all these impurities because of the healing vibrations, and it again brings you back in connect with the soul self or the Atman, and you will see automatically a lot of things start to change outside in your life. So when you are just living in the egoistic, that is where you feel the separatedness from others. There is no unity. I am separate and you all are separate. My wife is separate, my kids are separate, my mother, fathers, my boss, my colleagues, everyone is separate. And that is why we are suffering in life. Because of this separatedness, we take decisions which either hurt people or we nurture emotions like jealousy, hatred, anger, envy, and just the list goes on. But if we understand that they are nothing but us, these emotions wouldn't rise up. These emotions wouldn't get birth in us. I would say they are just vanished, and that's where your problems are solved. But since, as I said, the upbringing that we have had or the conditioning that we have had, we have a tendency of having these emotions with us. So that is where Bach remedies, they give us the answer. They will elevate you from a particular vibrational level and elevate you a little higher into positive vibration, and you will automatically start nurturing the unity, the love concept that you have within you. You start to learn to the Atman which guides us, and you will never regret decision making. So when we take a decision from our ego self, many a times it's a wrong decision. We think that, I am in control, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I take a decision which I later regret in life. That's why we end up in wrong relationships, we end up doing a wrong job or a wrong business or whatever, we end up investing money in wrong places. But when you listen to the soul self or the Atman or universe, you can give it whatever name you want, always guides you in the right direction. If I have to give you an example, which I always give in my workshops, is, in a hypothetical situation, if Vishal is sitting in a very rich person's house, he's a multi-billionaire or trillionaire also, and I find a small gold chain or a gold ring fallen down on the carpet, and the first thought comes to me from the ego self is to steal it. But the soul self or the Atman, the voice of universe, is trying to tell me, Vishal, don't do it, that's not right. But again, the ego self kind of counteracts and they say, no, it's okay, no one is going to see, no one will understand. This guy is a multi-billionaire, trillionaire. What this would mean to him? It's nothing, it's just penny for him. It's okay, I can take it. Still, the voice is telling you, guiding you in the right direction, that please don't do it. No matter if someone is seeing you or not seeing you, don't do it. However, you say that, no, you know what, I will use this money for a greater cause. I will give this, to poor, I'll feed poor people out of this, or I'll give it to the needy. And still the soul self is trying to tell you that please do not do this, but you end up doing it. Maybe you are naive enough, to not understand that there will be CCTV cameras, you will be caught with that. Or if you're not caught over there, the law of karma, it takes action whenever in the future or next life. But somewhere I have to pay and I will be suffering. That brings me suffering. So what has happened? I have operated from my ego self and it got me suffering. But whereas if I would have operated from my soul self or the Atman or the voice of universe of not doing it, I would have been in a much better place. Yes, I would have been a little less rich, but I would have been happier at least and with less problems in my life. Yeah. So that is what I'm trying to tell you, that these remedies, it connects you to yourself, to your soul self, to the universe basically. And that is how you will see everything around you starts to change. That is the communication which I'm talking about, that how the plants and animals communicated to Dr. Bach is like this, because he has realized, he had already removed or cleansed so many things within him. His ego was not that great. He never said that I am an MBBS doctor, I am MRCS, this, that. He was still, a person just like you and me, and that's how he related to the nature. So this is what the main philosophy behind finding these remedies is, or how Dr. Bach must have thought about it, and what caused him to, make the remedies was this. So concept of unity and love. And I would say this, if consciously also able to just nurture these two traits, I would say even remedies are not required. But because we are again, kind of brought up in a particular way, because we have a few beliefs and we have been kind of used to it, habituated to these for so many years, and that is why we need the help or assistance of these remedies. And I always tell people that they are not habitual remedies. So after a point of time, you leave those remedies because you have learned the art of vibrationally elevating a little higher. Automatically it becomes a habit. So that is what works the best in Bach remedies. Yeah. So how do these Bach remedies work? So Bach remedies work by healing the consciousness. Now consciousness is light and belongs to the realm of Purusha. Now what is a Purusha? Purusha is whatever is around us. Everything around us is Purusha. Existence, universe, you, me, whatever is there around me, that we call the Purusha. And there is something called as Prakriti. So all the other myriad developments comes under the energetic realm of Prakriti. Prakriti is usually how you interpret, how your interpretation is there about the Purusha around you, how you interpret fears, how you interpret challenging situations, how you interpret people in your lives. So that is what is Prakriti. So the source is Purusha, and when it is wrongly interpreted by our Prakriti, that is what causes suffering in us. As I was telling the example which I gave you, that if I look at a tall person who has, say, 6 years back has treated me badly, now my Prakriti is telling me that I am judging or I am interpreting that another tall person from that same emotion of mine. I am in that realm of Prakriti that, oh, this person is going to hurt me. And automatically I have a defensive stance in front of him, and my relationships will never blossom with that person automatically, because I don't want to being dominated by him or her or something like that. So in this I want to give you an example where one woman, she had come to us with a very common household problem, I can say, where the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law had a kind of a misunderstanding, and there was absence of love over there. And the daughter-in-law had complained about the mother-in-law not being cooperative. She always gives me taunts, irrespective of how much I work, how much I do, whatever I do, I have never been appreciated by her. She keeps on saying bad things to me, this, that. And we did the consultation for this woman, we gave her the remedies, And in Bach, there are two options. You either give them liquid remedies, or you can also give them pills, sugar pills, like how we give in homeopathy. So when she looked at those pills, she said, this sabudana pills, or sago, if I'm not wrong in English, are these small little pills, they're going to change my mother-in-law? Is it even possible that I'm not getting any connection over here? And since she was sent by a referral who had already taken remedies from us and she had faith in the remedies, we asked her only one thing: your friend is benefited, do you want to use this or not? She said yes, of course. So we asked her to use the remedies. She used it, and in a matter of month or so, when she came back, and she turned up saying that I think this is not less than magic happening in my life. So we asked her what was the magic that happened in your life. So this is where she said that suddenly I have become very best or very close friends with my mother-in-law. So we said, why do you say that? So she said that we have started to go out for movies, we have started to go out shopping. So whenever I'm stepping out, I always ask her that, Mama, do you want to come with me? And she always says yes, that I'll come with you, this, that. And they have started having a beautiful relationship. So what has happened? Has the mother-in-law changed over here with the remedies? The mother-in-law is still the same, but the prakriti of the daughter-in-law, or the client that came to us, that got changed. She started to interpret things in a different way. She realized that, my mother-in-law is alone. Her partner is not there with her. So quite possible that she is feeling lonely staying at home. And that's where the relation started to blossom. So now if you see what happened over here, everything outside is the same. What changed? It changes the prakriti of that person. She became more understanding. She became more loving towards her mother-in-law, and she became more considerate about her needs. Whereas previously she was just looking at her as a problem. She's problematic. She's troubling me. She's, giving out names to me and XYZ. So because of these remedies, automatically she understood how to interpret her in the right way. So she got connected to her soul self. She started interpreting it very well. So she got connected to the Purusha, and her prakriti changed of being very judgmental towards her mother-in-law. Yeah. Now these prakritis, if we don't take care of, they can cause us mental, emotional, or even physical distress and disturbances, which can create physical problems. Because we think that just nurturing these emotions of hate and anger and jealousy or greed, they are just at the emotional or the mental realm. But that is not how it works. What happens is, after some point of time, they start to percolate down, and they are seen or visible in the physical self as well. So if you are nurturing too much of hate, you are always having a vitriolic or a bitter tongue towards others, it's quite possible you would witness diabetes in your life. It automatically comes down. If you're having too many rigid mindsets in your thoughts, it has to be like this, like that, this, that, can't be changed. Quite possibly you will see rigidity, that mental rigidity seeps into your physical self, and you will see a lot of rigidity in your body. You may have arthritis, you may have frozen shoulders, you may have stiff joints. No, it can be anything. There is no hard and fast rule that this would happen. But if you are able to understand what I'm trying to say is, the more you nurture these emotions in you, after a point of time, for some cases it happens in months, sometimes in years, sometimes in many years. But it is bound to happen, and it will go down into the physical realm, and you will see some or the other physical disorder or distress that comes to you and makes a problem. And what you will think is, it's a physical problem, so let's treat the symptoms. That is where, sometimes the modern medicine lags behind, that we are looking just at the symptoms. Okay, you have arthritis, pop this thing, it will go. But it is originating from where? From those rigid mindsets, from those set beliefs. So when you take care of those, this automatically goes away. Yeah, so that is how Bach remedies work. So these are vibrational healing flowers which take us from the realm of Purusha or higher consciousness to enable us to dissolve these blockages that hinder us in life. So I hope you all have understood that it is not something that is outside which is stopping us from doing better or having good health or having good relationships. it is something within, it is something in your mind, it is something in your emotional self that is hindering us, to be in connect with that Purusha or the universe or the existence around us. So you can give whatever names you want to give it, but that is prevalent, and that is where we need to be connected to. So I'm not saying that you have to leave all your desires and just go to the jungle or something like that. But even being, in a married life or being in a social life over here, we understand that nurturing these positive emotions will automatically create positive circumstances, positive people, and positive situations in your life. You will start to see the change happens. It's like, when you place a set of cards standing and one drops, automatically there is an effect where everything else, the dominoes effect we call, everything starts to fall down. So once that first change, that first drop happens internally, you will see so many things, changes financially, emotionally, relationship wise, work wise. You will see so much of positivity that comes in a person's life. So this is how the remedies they work. Now moving to the next. Is Bach remedy a slow process? So now this also depends on an individual, because our mental self or our mind, we call it as a gross body. There is higher, finer bodies, like energy is much finer, but our mind is much grosser, and the mind can stop the energies to work. So I was just discussing this with a fellow friend of mine this morning, who asked me the same question, that why is it that it works with some and doesn't work with a few? So this actually answer applies to any modality. You take any modern modality, you take any other alternative healing modality, whatever it is, if the person itself or himself is not open to healing, is not believing, there will be no change, or there will be very less or very minimal change observed. But whereas if you see a person who's willing to change, wanting to change, is a believer in this, you will see tremendous changes happening. Like one example, mentioned over here is a message from one of our clients saying that my IBS is completely under control. I have been struggling since 4 years. Now 4 years this person is struggling, and I could see the difference after taking the remedies. Even my doctors and family members are surprised to see the change. Now there is no valid answer the doctors could have found for this, that how is it that my medicines haven't worked but these remedies have worked. The same reason as I explained in the previous slide, we got to know the emotions of this particular client and we started treating those emotions. And once you start to treat those emotions, the physical problems automatically start to disappear. There is another case study which I want to mention, is a woman who had chronic migraine case of about 15 years. It's like every alternate day, she used to be bedridden. That kind of, migraine attack she used to have. And she couldn't live her life happily, because nearly every alternate day she's lying down on a bed because of her migraine. But just by taking the remedies, after 4 days, she had called us and she said that, oh, my migraine hasn't come back. Am I completely cured, or is this magic, or am I just feeling this, or what? So just within 4 days, she realized that her migraine hasn't come, which has not happened to her in the past 14 years. She had tried all the different types of medicines, but nothing worked for her. This was done by allopathy, homeopathy, Ayurveda, everything she tried, but she didn't get the result what she wanted. But she got it over here in 4 days. And she asked whether I should stop it or no. We said, no, you should, continue it for a month. Just as I said, to get yourself habituated to, vibrating at a higher vibration. And after that, she stopped and we lost contact with her. We didn't know whether she's fine or no. And fortunately, her in-laws, they stay over here, and we met them on the road, and just while casual conversation, we asked her, oh, how is your daughter-in-law? And she said, oh, she's wonderful, she's fine, that migraine thing is completely gone. It has never come back again. So if you see that we have had magical cases where people have healed wonderfully just in a matter of days or weeks. Some people take months, depends on how much of an emotional backlog you have or how much of willingness you have to kind of heal. Now this woman, she really wanted to heal herself. She was like, I've had enough these 14 years. So she wanted to heal. So it's not only remedies, but her willingness also, it kind of gave a boost. So to answer this question, if it's a slow process, if the belief systems are high, if the remedies are given accurately by understanding the emotion of the person, then there will be magical transformation and miraculous short period of time. This is what you will see in Bach Remedies. So moving further, can remedies change the gunas? Now, all our avagunas which are there, or bad traits, if I translate it in English, or negative traits, not bad traits, the negative traits we have are because of, again, Prakriti, because of way we interpret life, and that is why we either are a tamasic person or a sattvic person. Now, the eventual aim for all of us is actually to be a sattvic person, full of energy, full of love, full of acceptance. All this is what sattvikta brings, in us, and everyone around us feels good to be with us. You feel good to be in this life. You are happy. You are always full of love, abundance, prosperity. Everything is there. Whenever you are a tamasic kind of a person, there will be a lot of laziness, sluggishness in life, I can say, or procrastination is there. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. So for tackling all these problems, all such emotions, we have remedies like scleranthus, hornbeam, willow, mimulus. Now these take care of that laziness, the shyness, the procrastination, even too much of anger if you have. Holly is the remedy for that. Fears, unknown fears. This is all tamasic quality which can be handled by these remedies. So just to give you a reference how it can work with our gunas also, or how they can manipulate the gunas or bring them from tamasic and rajasic to sattvic. Now, rajasic person is someone who is too much into ego, they are too much into possession, attraction, attachments. All these things are there in a rajasic person. So, to tackle those things, we have ego remedies like wine, beach, rock water, water violet, oak. They take care of the different aspects of ego. Now, I'm not saying they'll be removing the ego completely. The ego can never be removed. The ego self will always be there. That I, that expression of me being there will always be there. But it kind of brings back, you to the original state. And that overgrown ego that we have, oh, it's me, full of me. That is kind of, taken care of by the remedies. Or even the attachment part of it is taken care of, that not to hurt people, or being too much of attention seeker and all these. So for that we have such remedy. Or when also in rajasic qualities, to take control, they like to take control of things. So cherry plum is one remedy, which makes them understand about how the control comes. So actually control in life comes with surrender. When you surrender, that's when the control comes. I know it will be sounding very contradictory, but out of experience I'm saying that when you really surrender, you see a lot of control coming in your life. And of course, all the remedies will lead us to the sattvic quality, but there are a few remedies I've mentioned over, like larch, which is associated to confidence, walnut, which is associated to change, Serato, also able to learn to be intuitive, or be listening to the soul self, or the Atman that we were talking about. So these are the remedies. Or even heather, sweet chestnut, they develop love within you. The love for self, love for all around you, unconditional love. If I have to put it down in a word, the unconditional love is what can be achieved. So all these remedies, they will take care of these gunas, and end of the day, you will be kind of progressing or moving towards the sattvic gun with a lot of confidence, intuition power, love. All of these emotions, all of these traits will be automatically generated in you. Yeah, so that is how they help you in the avagunas. Now, can Bach help remove the blockages in chakras? Yes, they definitely will help us get rid of the blockages in our chakras. Now, the Shadharipus, what we call, there are Lobha, Madha, Moha, Matsara, Raga, Dvesha, like anger, greed, jealousy, suspicion. All these are emotions which we have, and because of these emotions, a particular chakra gets blocked. Because of too much of fear, the Muladhara, the base chakra, would be blocked. Because of too much of egoistic attachment, the Sahasrara chakra, the crown chakra, will be blocked. So you will not be having enough of energy input in those chakras. And when you don't have energy inputs, or they are not blossoming completely, when they are blocked because of these emotions, you start seeing those physical issues coming up in your body, or it can be emotional, it can be mental, whatever it is, they slowly start coming up in your body. So what happens over here is, when you take a particular remedy, say for example, there is a remedy called as Mimulus, which takes care of the fear, you automatically start to open up in your Mooladhara chakra. Your fear is gone away and you understand how to survive in life. Fearlessness comes in your life. To tell you about a case over here is a person who had come to us with the fear of color red. Now, whenever that person was seeing the color red, they were feeling fearful for no apparent reasons. Now, of course, we did the consultation and we gave a particular set of remedies to that person. And after some time, after a month or so, they came back and they said that now I remember why I fear the color red, because these were submerged emotions in that person, and over there were a lot of other emotional layers that had formed that they had forgotten about a few things. So as a child, this person was standing in a balcony and they saw a person carrying a goat on the road. It was a weekend, standing enjoying whatever is happening, and they saw the goat being taken in front of their house. There was a small room, and after the door was locked, in a few minutes they saw the blood came gushing out of underneath the door. And looking at that blood at that age, that child got fearful. That fear went inside that child, because that child understood that the goat was slaughtered inside. So that fear has been there with this particular person throughout. So her Mooladhara chakra is being blocked. So what happened when this remedy was given? The emotion of that fear was removed, and automatically the chakra starts to blossom. If I have to talk about the Vishuddhi chakra, a person who is not able to express, not being able to tell what they want, or lies also block. So usually there is a remedy called as an agrimony remedy, where they do not tell to others what their trauma or their suffering or their sorrow is, but they just portray outside that they are very happy, they are very good, they are very jovial, everything. So that is a kind of a lie, right? Now, irrespective anyone knows outside or doesn't know, but they know that they are lying to the world, that I am someone, but I am portraying that I am something else to others. Now that could cause problems related to the throat, thyroid related issues, throat related issues. It can be boils, it can be itching, it can be cough, it can be, as I said, thyroid, it can be anything. So what has happened over here? Again, the Vishuddhi chakra has been blocked because you are not expressing, vocalizing your feelings. So agrimony remedy would definitely open up the Vishuddhi chakra. And the Sahasrara chakra, if you are too attached, egoistic attachments are there, that me, my job, my personality, my position, I am the vice president of this company, CEO of this company. What is happening is you are not getting the cosmic energy. You are not in connect with the universe, because again the same point which I started with, the separatedness is there, that I am something and you all are something. So when you are only separating yourself from the entire universe around you, you won't get that universal energy, that universal guidance or the cosmic energy. So in such cases, the remedies like wine or beach, which I just mentioned in the previous slide, which are ego-based remedies, will help, and automatically you will see the chakra widening, blossoming, intuition, more of energy, more of love, more of affection. All these emotions a person will automatically start nurturing. Hila, Jivatma, we say, this creates newer possibilities. When you are healing yourself from these Shadaritus, from cleansing the chakras, we create newer possibilities in our life and allow our entire life to be healed. So Bach Remedies is not only something that you do for your, say, knee problem or just for my migraine, this, that. It is a holistic way of improving your life. It's not only about your disease. So that is where you get such a bigger benefit than the normal medical stream would give, any other medical or medicinal stream would give you. This gives you a better life altogether, and not just physical betterment or emotional betterment or mental betterment. Abundance and prosperity also can be achieved by having Bach Remedies, because you get rid of a few concepts in your mind or rigid thought processes in your mind. So life is nothing but living inside out, and it is by healing our core or the Jivatma we can heal everything external. So whenever you change yourself within, we always want to change our wife. Oh, she behaves like that. Oh, my husband, he behaves like that. Oh, my kids, they behave like that. My boss is like that. My neighbors are like that. And everyone, so on and so forth, is like that. They are like that because you are somewhere like that. Something in you is triggering something in them. The moment you have emotions of acceptance, love, joy, happiness, you will see outside there will be there. You will see prevalent and people change. If you are only not confident, if you are only not having a self-esteem about yourself, you will get people in life or instances in life which will make you feel you are low on self-esteem or you are a nobody. So it is not outside in, it is all inside out. So whenever you change within, automatically the domino effect will be seen outside. You will see so many things changing outside. So that is why we call it a holistic approach. Yeah. And moving to the next. So can Bach remedies help release self-love? Of course it will. So flowers basically, they come from nature, or we call it Prakruti, in the purest form. Yeah, if you see it in the purest form, is nothing but love. Yeah, love is basically all about giving unconditionally. That's why I've named it Ananda Unconditional. Ananda is joy. So without any conditions, we want to give joy to people. Yeah. So same thing, nature is like that. So if you look at it in the purest form, for example, rivers. The rivers, they flow freely and they help anyone who wants. Do they ask you questions like, oh, are you a male or are you a female? Are you in a particular religion or are you graduated? Are you a doctor or are you No, it doesn't. So you can use that water for drinking, you can use that water for washing clothes, or in making chemicals in hospitals, in clinics, in the industries. But the river or the nature never discriminates. So that is the purest form of self-love. It is just loving everyone and anyone, giving to anyone and everyone. A tree, when it gives you fruit, it does not ask you for your qualification, whether you are MBBS, whether you are a LLB, whether you are a BCom. No, it gives to a beggar also. It gives to the richest person of the world also. So that is what is love. So it goes without saying that these essences will naturally lead us towards self-love, provided we are sensitive and acceptance of those energies are there within us. So again, it comes to the same point that if we are ready for this change, and now whoever is watching this, I will tell you it's not out of coincidence that it has come to you, but it's definitely the universe is guiding you. This time, the pandemic time that we are going through, it's a time of change. People are changing, the world is changing, nature is changing, everything is changing, the way we interact is changing, the way we talk is changing. So many changes are happening. So this is the time for change. So if you are accepting that, yes, this modality is something that, I should start nurturing in my life, you will see so many positive, mind my words again, so many positive changes will come. You will start to give unconditionally, and when you give, you will see it comes in multifolds. It comes back to you. We always wait for someone to give. I wait for my wife to give me respect. I wait for someone else to give me accreditation that, oh, you are so great, you are so nice, this, that. That is not how nature works. The nature works is by giving. Now, when I say giving, so you have to give the importance to yourself also. No matter what negatives you have, no matter what you have been in the past, few years, don't hate yourself or don't demean yourself. Say, oh, I am such a bad person. It's fine. It is done and dusted. Those are mistakes. Learn from the mistakes and give self-love to yourself. Accept the way you are. Yes, I am a person who's too angry. I get irritated and agitated with small things. But now I have realized that, okay, this is not the way I should be, because if I am angry, the others are not going to suffer. Actually, I am going to suffer more. So let's control the anger. If I am fearful, I am going to get fearful things in my life, or people in my life who instill fear in me. So rather, let's change. This one more last slide which I'm going to talk about is the balance that it brings in our life. So Bach remedies, they are basically, positively charged remedies. So they are not dwelling on a negative vibration. What they do is they kind of bring you from the negative trait to the positive trait. So I have given an example over here of a remedy called as Aspen. Now, what are the negative tendencies? So if someone comes to me with the tendencies of apprehensions or vague fears which they don't know about, or they don't know why the fear is in them, I would give them the remedy Aspen along with a few other remedies whichever are required. What will happen to that person is the person will develop the ability to face all situations with courage and calmness, and this is what is going to restore balance. Like I was talking about the remedy called agreement. So that is a type remedy also. A person who falls into that remedy type is a person who doesn't express, doesn't talk much, who keeps the emotions or his thoughts to himself or herself. So that is the negative trait of agreement. So after giving remedies, am I going to change that person and the type of the person? No. So that person will start expressing. It may be his anger or emotions or thoughts, whatever it is, but he will not just flare up and shout and oh, I'm expressing my anger. No, that person understands how to express the anger. So if I get angry, I will tell the person that, whatever you did, I didn't like it. So I'm feeling a little disturbed because of that. So when I say like this to the other person also feels that, oh wow, such a nice way this person is talking to me. He's not yelling and shouting, and they will realize that okay, something has gone wrong with my actions, and they may either apologize or they will say, okay, sorry, I'll not do it the next time. So that is what the remedies do, and that is why there is a balance that gets formed in us. We don't go to any of the extremes. Even when you're expressing, it's not extreme expression that, oh, I have started expressing my anger, I'm yelling and shouting on others. That won't happen, It is all controlled with the help of other remedies like the cherry plum remedy, which I was telling about. It brings that control to yourself. The walnut remedy, which I was talking about, it helps you in transition in life, helps you to change in life. And that is where the balance, may it be emotional, may it be physical, or may it be mental, those balances are automatically restored by the help of these remedies. And there are numerous combinations that we can use. Yeah. So thank you everyone again for listening, taking the time out and going through these slides with me.